Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the backstory. If you're new here, kindly hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down below so that you can be notified whenever we post a new video. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there is a very interesting political development that happened yesterday. And it's coming from the Mount Kenya region. So yesterday, Moses KURIA tweeted, and it's a very interesting tweet that points to what will happen post 2027, in 2027 and post 2027. And after looking at that tweet, I will analyze to you why the Rigathis political influence in Mount Kenya should not be taken lightly. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's look at the tweet. So, Moses KURIA tweeted yesterday that, "To my brother Rigathi Gachagua, I am an honest man. By now, you know that. It's an undeniable fact that majority of our Mount Kenya people listen to you." That is said, KURIA. "You are ahead of us. You are edging closer to being the undisputed king of the Mount Kenya region." Underline the word, the undisputed king of the Mount Kenya region. So this tweet came after Rigathi Gachagua made some remarks whereby he was putting a lot of pressure on the likes of Governor Waiguru to toe the line and stop working with President William RUTO and help him in consolidating the Mount Kenya region's vote.
Na watu wanatumiwa na RUTO. Wewe Governor Waiguru, wewe Karinda, kwani nyinyi hamuna akili? RUTO wako pale anaunganisha jamii yake ya Rift Valley ndio aweze kutafuta uongozi. Mimi nasema hapa tuungane. Si mimi niliungana na Martha Karua, si tumeungana na JB Muturi, si tumeungana na Linturi. Huyo si ni uerevu. Sasa huyu Karinda, huyu wa hapa Embu ndio anatumiwa na RUTO wakiwa na ile mtu anaitwa Soprano kugawanya sisi. Mtakubali? Mtakubali? Wewe William RUTO, wacha kufikiria watu ya mlima ni fala. Unatumia pesa kugawanya sisi, alafu wewe unaunganisha jamii yako. Unafikiria sisi ni wajinga?
For me, one very interesting thing that I would want to deduce from this, and Moses KURIA has alluded to it, is the fact that so many people had written off Rigathi Gachagua in his quest to become the next kingpin of Mount Kenya region. But this tweet by Moses KURIA has made me thinking that, just as it said, political leadership is not given. You take it by force. If you knock on that door and it doesn't open, you have to force that door to open. Why am I saying so? Because when Rigathi Gachagua started working out plans to become the undisputed king of Mount Kenya region, so many people wrote him off, including the likes of Moses KURIA. Other political leaders have also been writing him off. But it's very interesting how this thing has snowballed into a point whereby all these leaders are now feeling like, oh, the new king is in town, so we need to toe the line. But, you know, all these political leaders from Mount Kenya region never saw this coming. They failed to take advantage of one thing, which is the political vacuum that was in Mount Kenya region. That is where Rigathi Gachagua did beat them. Because after former President Uhuru Kenyatta left the presidency, there was a political vacuum in the Mount Kenya region. And everyone was asking who was going to be the next kingpin of Mount Kenya region in terms of politics. And so many names were coming into play, but no one came out strongly to take over that mantle. So Rigathi Gachagua, in his scheme of things, decided to have a go at it, and it's paying off. And just as I told you, in politics, leadership is not given, it's taken. And that is what Rigathi Gachagua has done. He's taking that mantle by force. And there are so many examples that we can use to deduce this argument. Take, for example, after Jaramogi Oginga Odinga died, there was confusion and political lull within the Luo Nyanza region. And so many people were worried. They were like, so many people from Nyanza region were worried, and they were like, what next? Who is going to take over the leadership of political leadership of Nyanza? And so many names were floated, the likes of Anyang' Nyong'o, the likes of Orengo, there was Dalmas, all those leaders. Raila was not in the picture at all. But Raila, being a schemer, forced his way into that table of political kingpinship. He edged out the likes of Orengo, he edged out the likes of Nyong'o, he edged out the likes of Dalmas, and he emerged victorious. Even though there was a lot of resistance at the beginning, just like Rigathi Gachagua is facing right now, but eventually he made it to that position. And after consolidating Luo Nyanza, he was able to reach out now to other regions. And he won over their hearts. The same applies to the current president of the Republic of Kenya, who is President William Ruto. President William Ruto, after Moi left power, there was that political lull in the Kalenjin nation. And so many people are worried. The names that were floated then were the likes of Kipkalia Kones, but Ruto was not featuring anywhere. And no one ever thought that someone like President William Ruto could make it to that position. But he forced his way into that position. And eventually, he became the kingpin of the Kalenjin nation and later became the president of the Republic of Kenya. So what does that tell you? It tells you that when it comes to matters political leadership, when it comes to matters kingship, you have to show what it takes or what you have for you to make it to that position. And that is what Rigathi Gachagua has deployed right now. So many people have written him off from the word go. People said that he was not going to make it. But by that admission by Moses Kuria, it tells me that Rigathi Gachagua is forcing himself into that kingship position. And for him, it's about first consolidating his backyard, which is the Mount Kenya region, consolidating it politically. Then after consolidating it politically, then he can now reach out to other regions so that he can take over the grand prize, which is the presidency. So as it is right now, so many people would still think that, oh, Rigathi is a passing wind or a passing cloud. But if you look at his body language, Rigathi is focused on the presidency, which is the grand prize. You might rule him out now, but eventually time will tell. And if all these political leaders within Mount Kenya, and it's a matter of time before all these political leaders from Mount Kenya region align themselves with DCP or Rigathi Gachagua's party. It's just a matter of time. Because as we head into 2027 general election, there are people within Mount Kenya region who are also seeing the vacuum. And if these political leaders do not align with themselves with Rigathi before 2027, then they might be swept off by that wave. Because I know, as it stands, the only party that I think is making inroads within the Mount Kenya region is DCP. Other people thought that Jubilee would come over and scatter DCP's influence, but I don't see it happening. So all these other political leaders will have to toe the line and align themselves with Rigathi Gachagua. Once he takes that mantle, then all of them will have to bow politically to the new king in town. So ladies and gentlemen, that is a very interesting story to me that I've been thinking about it since I saw Moses Kuria's tweet, and I said, oh, history is repeating itself, but this time around in a different region. So ladies and gentlemen, that is it from us. We'll keep monitoring what's going on in the political scene, and we'll keep you guys updated. But if you like our content and you are new here, kindly hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down below so that you can be notified whenever we post a new video. Until next time, bye-bye.